Hello, YouTube. Today's Mod Monday will be covering the Kenshi mod Hives Expanded by Microwaved Roe, a faction expansion mod recommended and loved by the community. We can start off with a bunch of the smaller updates to this mod and then build up into the faction changes. I, however, will not be going into a lot of depth into the world states for each faction, as I feel that would spoil much of the mod's impact, so instead I'll only highlight some of the changes there. So to start off, we have two new items, an odd amount of item additions for such a large impact mod. This mod adds a new research item called Hiver notebooks. For every new piece of tech, you'll need a handful of these items to start the research. The weapons are not craftable due to the unique textures, meaning all weapons are only lootable. You will need to collect a total of 32 Hiver notebooks to unlock all armor pieces and variations. The first and second tier of armor can be unlocked at tech level 3. The third tier armor research will be unlocked at tech level 4. The Hiver notebooks can be found in 2 vendor lists, and thus only in a small handful of vendor locations. You can find the Hiver notebook in Hiver merchant caravans rarely, and of course in Hive towns as loot or in their buildings. Bear in mind that if you're doing a Hive only playthrough with this mod, you will have a much harder time getting these books, as the vanilla behavior for the Hive list has not changed, and they will refuse to trade with any Hivers not part of their Hive. So you may need to cheat a proxy, like a human, a Shek, or a skeleton, whose sole purpose is to collect these books, or you will have to challenge the Hivers themselves or steal from them. As a word of warning, this mod ups their armies and defenses to 12 on a scale of 10. The second item is exclusive to the new subrace for the Fogmen. The Praetorian Roe is another bounty item added to the Praetorian subrace and sells for 16,000 cap. While there are probably not many vendors in Vanilla Kenshi who will accept this, I can assume that many of you will likely hunt this down, much like the Leviathan pearls. It is a much rarer item to get, but much more worthwhile to hunt down when it comes to Fogmen. Jumping from the items, we'll jump over to the new subraces, the Praetorians, a simple modification for soldier subrace. The Praetorians are taller, stronger, and pack way more of a punch. These are the elite of the elites, much like generals, and their entire purpose is to punish those who threaten the queen of the Hive. They serve as the elite guard, and they are one hell of a serious retribution force. The new subrace comes in 3 obvious variants: the Western Hive, the Fogmen, or the Dead Hive, and of course the Southern Hive. In the background now, you can see some of the squads set up on screen, and apparently a Hiver merchant caravan did just spawn. I've actually never seen them spawn in the smaller Hive towns. These different squads are not as apparent, but you can see a bunch of their new items. This is the crescent clay for the soldiers. Get out of my face. We'll jump over to the Western Hive capital here in a second, but as you can see, this is how they would normally spawn. I won't be going over the world states here, as I feel that will spoil much of the mod, but let's go over some quick facts. There are a handful of new world states regarding the Hiver. If the Western Hive falls, you've got a new bandit group that will spawn. The Southern Hive will also take over the Western Hive area, so meaning, if we look at the map real quick, if you do not kill the Southern Hive first, but you end up killing the Western Hive first, the Southern Hive will then take over Vane and all of its Western Hive villages. If the Southern Hive falls before the Western Hive, so again, looking at the map here, if the Southern Hive, all the way out through Grey Shelf and Royal Valley, falls first, they will become Fogmen. Fogmen will then spread to the Vane area and throughout the Western Hive if you then kill the Western Queen. Again, this is not recommended. I will say that these guys are an endgame faction now if you piss them off. My recommendation is do not challenge the queens if you are not ready for the retribution forces. These guys are not entirely balanced correctly, and I will say they are harder than some of the other endgame bosses. While many of the world states in mentioning are vanilla in many ways, they are no longer fully vanilla. The bandit factions have been overhauled to include the new gear and some of the other war campaigns. Almost every vanilla squad related to the Hivers has been overhauled in regards to the Hiver faction. And we'll actually go ahead and jump over to the capital. I went ahead earlier and came up here and deleted the sitting spots so that you can probably see more of the guys spawning around. So we have the Western Hive medium plate and the Western Hive leg plates. Bear in mind, I'm pretty sure you can buy these and the weapons in their trader shops. And then if we bring back our UI here, oh, shut up. So they have 60 in stats. These are the Queen's Guard. These are not the Retribution forces, just as a heads up. We'll jump over to the Southern Hive real quick and take a look at them as well. So you can see that they do have their own unique armored colors. So the Western is more kind of dirty metal, and this is more painted metal, and it matches their martial arts or the armored rags. These are some of the helmets. You can build these, you can build the Hive legs, you can build the chest plates. You just cannot build these weapons. They do both now spawn with their own gunner variants. They do have their own variants, weapon variants, as you can see here. So now you have the Praetorians. Jesus Christ, King scared me. So this is also one of the new headsets. If we turn this guy off and open up his inventory. So these are the Ronin headsets. They're colored purple for the Southern Hive, and they're colored a slight grayish rusted metal for the Western Hive. And then these are the I keep saying Western Hive, the Southern Hive Praetorians. They're only a soldier variant, like I was saying earlier, but they do, of course, pack a wallop. He's got 99 attack. Now, if you see these guys and they're named, don't mess with them. All right, so let's jump over to Fogmen now. What mods are you guys currently playing as I load in? And what mods you guys would like to see in the reviews? I've got the Cannibals expanded, Crossbow expansion, and Shrieking Bandits expanded coming in the next 3-4 weeks. So I've got those covered. If you guys have any more suggestions for Mod Mondays, feel free to leave them below. I've also got a new series coming up that I'm going to spend a lot of time heavily editing down, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm actually really excited about that. You can see the Fogmen don't really have much of a change of appearance. The princes, oh, here we go. Here's a drone with some of the new armor. So the Fogmen actually use bone armor, which really adds to their aesthetic. One of the things I love about this mod is just that it spent a lot of time fleshing out factions while not quite overpowering them. See if we can get anybody to spawn in with, oh, here we go, chest armor. Now he's got a rib cage across his rib cage. They do spawn in bigger numbers, and they are now more difficult rather than spawning with the iron clubs, the bone weapons, the bone armor. They're akin to some lighter plate metals and stuff like that. Thank you everybody for watching. If you guys liked the video, leave a like, and if you guys have any other questions, leave a comment below. If you like the content, consider subscribing, as I plan on expanding what games I cover in the future, and I have some new series spinning up in the background. I'm Atlas, and I am out.